You're going to Fallujah. You have no idea what you're in for. Fallujah is the probably the most well-known battle throughout the entire war. The bloodiest. We'll just leave it at that. It was indescribable. And you were there.
I was there. The first one was Inherent Resolve. That was the operation leading up to Phantom Fury, which most people hear about. That was the concluding of Fallujah. That was like the last battle. We were there for Inherent Resolve. So we arrive. We convoy from Kuwait to Iraq. We go to our fire base. It's called Bahariya. It was one of Saddam's old resorts. He had like some little go-kart places. He had a place where he had caged lions, a little lake in the center. Right next to this place called the Mech. This big facility that housed aircraft, medical, reconnaissance, and various other entities. In our base, we replaced the 101st Airborne and the Air Force. And these guys were battered. They didn't have much. And so we showed up into what you would think as a pretty austere environment. We had hard structures that were team houses because it was just like this big resort area. So there's multiple houses. Our kitchen was a big general purpose tent. And operations were getting pretty feisty there. We haven't gone out at this point. A couple leadership are doing left and rights with the outgoing entities, the recce guys with the 101st, they're snipers. And, you know, day one, not even day one into the city, but day one on the left seat, right seat, two of our guys from our platoon come back with grenade wounds.
On day one?
Day one. And essentially what happened, there was this like weekly tribal council essentially that happened at this district center. And the sniper recce guys from the 101st would set up Overwatch, relay stuff, and provide Overwatch. We had a few members of our sniper platoon go out there, and I was kind of butthurt. I wanted to go. But it was the senior guys. Which at the time, I'm still new to this whole thing, but it makes sense. They're doing leaders reconnaissance. I just wanted to go out and do stuff. I'm here to work. Well, they come back eating grenades. The 101st, as they're leaving, they did not leave with their heads held high. They were still getting killed and wounded all the way up to the point they left. Our kitchen, our dining area, which is a tent, took a direct mortar round. Mortar rounds were really happening a lot, impacting all over the fire base constantly, just harassing fire. And once again, we didn't really know what we were getting into. We did not have armor on our vehicles. All of our Humvees were soft skin. We still using the Mercedes IFAB vehicles. You remember those Jeeps with the roll cages? We were using those, which are cool until they're not.
Not in Fallujah.
Not in fucking Fallujah. And so we started to really pillage what the Air Force had and what the Army had. We started to take all their blast blankets. The Air Force had armor on their Humvees. We're taking their armor, ghetto rigging it to our rigs. And we had no optics.
You had no optics?
We had iron sights. And ACOGs were not a real thing back then. ACOGs were in the fielding process. They were not. ACOG is the, I think, 3x magnified optic. They were in the fielding process. They were not in our hands, not in our possessions. Night vision, good luck. Radios, personal radios, good luck. In the sniper platoon, it's completely different. Sniper platoon, we all had, 148s. We all had team communication. We all had 7 Bravos. So we were pretty stacked. We had some pretty outdated, at the time, very dated thermals. But the infantry, maybe 3 guys had squad systems, squad communication systems. Maybe 8 guys out of 30 had night vision. you know, and would be conducting full spectrum operations through all hours of the day and night. But at the time, no one knew it was coming. So when our guys came back with holes in their bodies and already out of the fight, they didn't go home. They stayed there. It was pretty crazy because we're just day one on our fire base on this camp, and 2 of our guys are already out of commission. 2 guys.
Damn. 2 leaders.
2 leaders, and we're a 12-man team. We're a 12-man platoon. And, 4, my math is wrong. 16. We had 4 teams of 4. And then we had a residual headquarters aspect element that could fill and go. Still pretty small. A lot of responsibility. Very small outfit. And they're like, oh, it's crazy. And you're just hearing stories. And then you start hearing the booms. And then you're like, oh shit. Then you see the booms, you know, the mortars that are coming in. And like all of this now becoming very real to me. Like it was always real to me, but it wasn't, I never had the perspective of something I'd never experienced. You know, hearing men fucking cry out for help. Never heard that shit before. You know, fear has a sound. And hearing that sound, I've never heard that before. And it was a culture shock a bit. But at the time, we still had no mission. We had no plan. We were doing some of the guys from our sniper platoon were doing Trojan horse missions, so low vis operations. But because you're a Marine, they won't let you grow out your beard because of discipline. Mm-hmm. And so they're like cami painting their face, you know, wearing local garb as much as they can, making themselves look like they have a 5 o'clock shadow, and doing the best they can with what they had back in the day. Well, those missions started to quickly shut down. That's around the whole time the Blackwater thing happened. A lot of people are dying. And it started to stir up a hornet's nest. Because I don't think the commanders knew exactly what their subordinate commands were actually getting into. And so,
which Blackwater thing are you talking about? Are you talking about when the contractors were hung upside down on the bridge?
Yeah.
Burned alive?
And so you hear all these tales and stories of things going on, and you're like, shit's real. This is when like the orange jumpsuit guy, remember that it was like an 18-wheeler driver getting beheaded?
Yeah.
Do you remember that video was going around everywhere? And there's a lot of these things. You're like, what is this, dude? It's like, I couldn't comprehend.
Yeah.
War is war, sure. You can probably comprehend that a bit, but the brutality of it all and really what we were up against, I had no left or right lateral limit to even comprehend that.
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn Ryan. Click here to subscribe to the Shawn Ryan Show YouTube channel for the hottest and most compelling interviews that you will not see anywhere else. I've also made a playlist of all the previous SRS episodes so they're easy to find. You can find that right here.